Your mind is lying to you right now, and the most dangerous part is that it sounds like your own voice. Before we go any further, pause for a moment and ask yourself what your mind has been telling you lately about your life, your worth, or your future. Drop it in the comments early, because this message is meant to meet you exactly where you are mentally right now. This video is not about fighting your thoughts or silencing your mind. It is about seeing clearly how the mind distorts reality and learning how to take back control without force. By the end of this message, you will understand why the mind lies, how it keeps you trapped, and how awareness dissolves its power naturally. From the moment you wake up in the morning, your mind begins narrating reality as if it knows the truth. It tells you what today will be like, how people see you, and what is possible or impossible for you. But what you rarely notice is that the mind does not speak facts. It speaks conditioning. It repeats old memories, borrowed beliefs, emotional wounds, and unexamined fears. Most people live their entire lives obeying this internal voice without ever questioning its authority. And that unquestioned obedience is where control is quietly lost. The mind's primary job is not to tell the truth, but to keep you safe according to past experience. Safety to the mind means familiarity, not growth, not freedom, not truth. Anything unknown feels like danger to it, even if that unknown holds peace and expansion. So it exaggerates risk, magnifies fear, and convinces you to stay small. It disguises this as logic, caution, or realism. But in reality, it is simply protecting an outdated identity. Notice how the mind speaks most convincingly when you are tired, emotional, or uncertain. It waits for moments of vulnerability to tighten its grip. It brings up past failures and presents them as predictions of the future. It turns temporary emotions into permanent conclusions. And because it speaks quickly and confidently, you assume it must be right. This is how lies become beliefs without your consent. The mind lies by creating stories that feel personal but are actually automatic. It says, "I am not enough," "this will never work," or "people cannot be trusted." These statements feel intimate because they use the word I. But look closely, and you will see they are recycled patterns, not original truths. The mind borrows language from pain and presents it as identity. Awareness begins the moment you separate who you are from what you think. One of the greatest illusions is believing that every thought deserves attention. The mind produces thousands of thoughts daily, most of them repetitive and useless. Yet you give them authority simply because they appear in consciousness. You do not question where they came from or whether they serve you. You listen as if they are wise advisors rather than untrained messengers. This blind listening is how control slips away unnoticed. The mind thrives on urgency and noise because silence exposes its weakness. When you slow down, its stories lose momentum. When you become still, its lies become obvious. That is why discomfort often arises when you sit quietly with yourself. The mind fears observation more than resistance, because observation reveals that it has no real power on its own. Taking back control does not mean dominating your thoughts. Control does not come from suppression, force, or positive thinking. Those methods only create internal conflict and exhaustion. True control comes from understanding the mechanism of the mind. Once you see how it operates, it no longer controls you unconsciously. Clarity replaces struggle naturally. Begin by noticing the space between a thought and your awareness of it. That space is small but powerful. It proves that you are not the thought itself. You are the one hearing it. This simple realization shifts the entire power dynamic. The observer is always freer than the observed. The mind loses control the moment it is seen clearly. Not judged, not fought, just seen. Awareness acts like light in a dark room. Nothing needs to be chased away. Illusions dissolve on their own when exposed. This is why awareness is the most effective form of control. Notice how the mind constantly pulls you into past or future. Regret lives in the past. Anxiety lives in the future. The present moment is where the mind has the least influence. That is why presence feels unfamiliar at first. The mind has no story to tell here. And without a story, it loses authority. Every time you return to the present, you weaken the mind's grip. You do not need long meditation sessions to do this. Simple awareness of breath, body, or sound is enough. These anchors pull attention out of mental noise. The mind cannot dominate when attention is grounded. Presence is the mind's natural boundary. The mind also lies by convincing you that you must fix yourself. It tells you that something is wrong with you, that you need to become someone else to be whole. This creates endless self-improvement loops without peace. Awareness shows you that wholeness is not achieved, it is remembered. You were never broken to begin with. Another lie is that control comes from certainty. The mind craves answers, labels, and guarantees. But life is fluid, unpredictable, and alive. Trying to control life mentally only creates tension. Real control comes from flexibility, not rigidity. From responsiveness, not mental dominance. When you stop believing every thought, emotional intensity reduces. Problems become situations instead of identities. Fear becomes a sensation rather than a command. You regain choice where there was once compulsion. This is what freedom feels like at a practical level. Not bliss, but clarity. Pay attention to how often the mind speaks in absolutes. Always, never, everyone, no one. These words create mental prisons. Reality is nuanced, but the mind prefers extremes. Awareness restores complexity and balance. Truth is rarely dramatic. The mind also lies by comparing you to others. It measures progress, success, and worth externally. This creates constant dissatisfaction. Comparison keeps the mind busy and distracted. Presence ends comparison instantly, because comparison requires imagination, not reality. As awareness deepens, you may feel disoriented at first. Old mental habits lose meaning. Familiar fears no longer feel convincing. This can feel like losing control, but it is the opposite. You are losing false control to regain real autonomy. Confusion is often the doorway to clarity. You do not need to eliminate the mind to live freely. The mind is a tool, not an enemy. It becomes useful when it serves awareness instead of leading it. Problems arise only when the tool becomes the master. Awareness restores the correct hierarchy. You lead, the mind follows. Notice how peaceful moments feel threatening to the mind. It quickly interrupts silence with thoughts. It fears being irrelevant. But silence is where truth is felt, not thought. Staying with silence retrains attention, and attention is the currency of control. Every time you choose awareness over reaction, you reclaim power. Reaction is the mind's favorite escape. It keeps you moving without seeing. Awareness slows you down just enough to choose differently. This is not weakness, it is mastery. Stillness is strength. Your mind will continue to produce thoughts. That will not stop. What changes is your relationship with them. You no longer follow every narrative. You listen without obedience. This is mental sovereignty. The more you observe, the less convincing the lies become. They lose emotional charge. They pass like clouds instead of storms. You begin to trust awareness more than thinking. This trust grows quietly, and with it, inner stability. Do not rush this process. The mind will try to turn awareness into another achievement. Notice that too. Even the desire to control can be observed. Nothing is outside awareness. This is its power. Over time, clarity replaces mental noise. Not because thoughts stop, but because they no longer dominate. You act from presence instead of impulse. Decisions feel grounded rather than forced. Life feels simpler, not easier. And that simplicity is freedom. You may notice fewer inner arguments, less self-judgment, more space between stimulus and response. This space is where peace lives. The mind cannot enter it uninvited. Only awareness resides there. Taking back control is not a dramatic moment. It is a quiet shift, a subtle withdrawal of belief, a gentle return to the present. This happens repeatedly, not once. Consistency matters more than intensity. When challenges arise, the mind will still comment, but you will hear it as commentary, not command. This changes everything. Life becomes participatory instead of overwhelming. You respond rather than react. That is real power. Awareness does not promise a perfect life. It offers a real one, with fewer illusions and more clarity, with less mental suffering and more conscious choice. That is enough. If this message resonates, notice what your mind is doing right now. Is it agreeing, resisting, analyzing? Observe without engaging. That observation is already control. Nothing else is required in this moment. You are here. Remember, your mind is not your enemy. It is simply outdated software running old programs. Awareness updates the system naturally. No force is needed. Only attention. Only presence. The moment you stop believing every thought, freedom begins. Not the freedom to do anything, but the freedom to choose consciously. That choice changes how you live, how you relate, how you experience yourself. You do not need to reach enlightenment to apply this. You only need to notice. Notice thoughts as thoughts, emotions as sensations, life as it is. That noticing is enough. Before this video ends, return to the question from the beginning. What has your mind been telling you that feels limiting or confusing? And what would you like clarity on next? Share it in the comments. This channel grows through shared awareness. Your reflection may be exactly what someone else needs. Your mind will keep talking, but it does not have to lead anymore. Awareness is already here. And the moment you see that, control quietly returns.